Psychology of Happiness, Intervention for Environmental Wellness by Avery Wasden. For my intervention, I decided I want to do something along the lines with the environment and what we are kind of going through right now with quarantine and the pandemic. The environment itself can contribute to stress and the ability to manage that stress. So right now, I know a lot of us are cooped up inside with the pandemic. So there are a couple factors that play a role in this environmental stress that many of us often might face in our daily lives. So technology, light, color, temperature, air quality, noise, and ergonomics are all sources of environmental stress. And ergonomics, for those of you who don't know, there's kind of three areas included in that, and it's physical, cognitive, and organizational. And so that's kind of the increase of efficiency and productivity we see in the workplace, and the reduction of discomfort. So when we sit at a computer all day, having the right chair and the right lighting and the right level of, a desk, those are all factors that can kind of play into ergonomics. So today we will be looking at an intervention that relates to technology, something that is used every day by every single one of us, especially since we are all in online classes now. So technology is a double-edged sword. It can enhance our lives or cause significant stress. And so the intervention that we will discuss relates to, like I said, the uses of technology in our everyday lives. So some examples of this can include Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok is the new big one, several news outlets, especially with people trying to report on the pandemic. I know I live in Jacksonville, Florida, and they actually just opened our beaches back up for certain hours of the day, kind of to walk and ride bikes. And a lot of news outlets and people reported thousands of people on our beaches, which was definitely not true. So with technology, like anything else, moderation is key when it comes to, sitting and being on technology, maybe more now than before this pandemic started. So a recommended screen time each day is less than 2 hours. And so I'm going to share some resources at the end, and one of those kind of gives you some statistics on how many hours that we spend on, social media and technology every single day. So these are some negative aspects of too much screen time. So watching reality TV, this can cause unrealistic view of the real world. Prolonged sitting can result in lethargy and lack of energy. Commercials focus on less than desirable attributes and can make us believe that something outside ourselves will make us happier, aka, having the newest iPhone or AirPods, the newest car, computer, etc. Violence watched on screen is associated with aggressive behavior among children. There's been several studies done on that. So that's kind of an interesting resource to look up as well. But another issue is that conflict resolution is not modeled on TV. We don't see that on TV. Children and adolescents have very little exposure to seeing any empathy modeled on TV, and that's something that should be, kind of modeled more on television. Instead, we see more violence and hate and aggressive behaviors, I guess you could say. So this is going to lead us to the intervention called the Unplugged Challenge. And what the challenge is, there's two parts to this activity. The first is going to be paying attention to how plugged in you are. The second is going to be recognizing how being unplugged affects the quality of your life, whether it's positive for you or whether it's negative. So I kind of added a little picture, this is what, we revolve around is emails and text messages and, YouTube videos and music. So it's all technology, and at some point we need to kind of unplug from that. And so I felt like this was a good intervention to kind of, research and try to attempt to do here today, especially while being at home and probably bored out of your mind. Okay, so with the Unplugged challenge, the first is you want to honestly appraise what being plugged in means to you and the quality of life. So, do you text and drive? Do you play video games instead of studying? Are you constantly checking Facebook during class? Are you talking on your phone rather than being engaged in the moment at a party or event? Are you surfing websites rather than doing legitimate web searches for your term paper? Take the time to reflect on the role technology plays in your life and also ask friends for their input. So, for example, you may hear, you know, from your friends how annoying it is when you are hanging out together and you're texting other people rather than giving your friend your full attention and kind of being there and really listening to them. And so the second one that we kind of want to focus on in this Unplugged challenge, once you kind of evaluate yourself and what it means to you, is commit to a time of unplugging from technology. This could be unplugging for a weekend morning, unplugging for a period of time during the day, or shutting down early in the evening. And that's also, kind of getting off technology early in the evening, not being on it right before bed actually increases your sleep. So that's a good fact that you should know and take note of. So notice how it feels to let go of that technology. Ask others who might be influenced by your technology use how it feels to have a break. So, your roommates, if you lived on campus, you kind of, they kind of know if they're enjoying, I guess, your time on technology. Better worded, is your music playing too loud in the background for them to study, or just kind of being aware of what technology does to you and also the people around you. Notice how your stress levels while being unplugged, are they different? Are they less? Are they more? Are you, constantly feeling like you need to check social media? And so that's something that when you unplug, you want to notice those feelings of not constantly checking in on media to see what's going on, instead being in the moment and kind of realizing how it feels for you and how it's kind of affecting your life. At first, you may become anxious as you are breaking some habits, but that's going to be normal, just like anything else. And so once you kind of complete this challenge, I really want you to be able to log it in a journal or put it in a chart. So an example of a chart would be, you can kind of do it on a spreadsheet or something like that, but kind of add, how many hours are you being on media a day? How many hours, do you want to be on media a day? Like I said, the recommended is less than 2 hours a day. And so kind of charting that, and, you can put each day, or I'm going to, give up this amount of time of technology. And so you can include, your schoolwork in that, because we are using computers and Zoom a lot with classes. So technology can be really good for you. It can also, it reaps some more negative benefits being on it too much. And so just kind of finding the balance and moderation of that is going to be really key. So after you've kind of completed this challenge, reflect on how technology affects your level of stress. Is there a next step you might pursue, such as, committing to not checking your phone during class or not texting while driving? Find something that you can kind of add to this challenge as well. Like, what do you want to give up or, pursue for better health and better overall well-being? So lastly, I have some resources for you to check out. The first has to do with environmental wellness. So this website is called Talkstown. It's sponsored by the U.S. National Institutes of Health and provides info about environmental concerns. It's really interesting. You can kind of go on and see the difference of, air quality and UV index in your, in your area of where you live and such. Some places are not reported. I know Jacksonville was kind of not as reported as other places, but super interesting website, and you can kind of go on and see what that's about. The second is going to be television. So the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute has a website about television and kind of its, pros and cons and how we can reduce screen time. You can apply this to if you have kids, or siblings, just kind of reading about that. But that also has statistics on it of how much we spend on technology a day. So that's some good information. I would highly suggest you kind of going on that. And also, when you click on that website, to the right side, you're going to see a link, and it kind of leads you to some more resources of how you can better cut down on screen time. So that's really interesting. And the last is Stress in America. This is from the American Psychological Association, and it has a great article about technology and social media as a stressor in America today. So that's also a really good resource. I would highly suggest checking all of those out. And we are almost to 11 minutes, so y'all practice this Unplugged challenge and let me know how it goes for you. Have a great day!